Hey, and welcome back to 80 Proof Gaming's coverage of E3 once again. Last up is Sony. Alright. When Sony came onto the stage, each of their individual speakers had their own music. I thought that was really interesting. They were aiming for this really comfortable, everybody's their own person. They get to do what they like when they're on stage, and they're all just sort of people that have opinions and beliefs, and nobody's perfect, and they made their little mistakes. It was very charming in that. The first thing they had talked about was veda, and they discussed it briefly. Like, hey, look, we're still supporting veda, and we're producing quite a bit of games coming up, so be excited about that. And they moved the fuck on, which I think was the correct choice for them. Then they went sort of very, very quickly into some games, and one of the first ones that I saw was Beyond, and they didn't show very much gameplay. They seemed to spend a lot of money on motion capture actors, and that's never really a good thing from my perspective. The more money you waste on big name actors, the less money you've got to make a good game. And since they didn't actually show a lot of gameplay, that's sort of disconcerting. I figure, not very exciting. When they whipped out the PS4, first off, wow, that's very pretty. There's a very handsome looking machine there. I wouldn't mind taking that machine home with me, if you know what I'm saying. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what I'm saying. But then they brought out the CEO, and I thought it was kind of interesting because he had this like very presidential music. It was like, here he is, it's the president, and it was very contrary to the whole like everybody's just a normal folk sort of message that they had been going with up until that point. But I suppose that it lends some credence to the idea that they actually were choosing their own music to go up with. And maybe he chose that one, and everybody was like, I don't know, dude. Are you sure you want to go with that? And he was like, dude, CEO. Yeah, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. And next, they briefly mentioned that it was sort of a thumb to the nose of Xbox, where they were like, yeah, we're going to spend an entire conference talking about movies and music. And in one sentence, it was a few sentences, in a paragraph, they were like, yeah, we got more movies and music set up better than Xbox because we're Sony. And then they moved on. And that was interesting. They were like, yeah, we're going to exploit the fact that Sony is an entertainment company and we have all these connections, so we're going to be better. And they talked about some indie games in here. And Transistor, as we already knew, looked amazing. And they sort of like lined up all of the indie games that they got. And they were like, you see all these indie developers? And they had like pictures and actual developers on stage, and a collage of pictures in the background of developers. They were like, yeah, sup, we've got more indie developers. And then I saw a little bit of Watch Dog, and wow, yes, please, can I have it, please? Assassin's Creed, yeah, they sort of screwed up Assassin's Creed. I mean, they didn't. Sony was not responsible for the screw up with Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed went up there and they tried to do a live demo, and it just didn't work. It stuttered. The frame rate sort of was like a frame every few seconds, and then somebody from the next game came up and was like, "Okay, we're moving on, right?" So that was interesting. I was sort of wondering when I was watching that, was it something that was Like, did somebody send him out, or did he just go like, nope, I'm pulling the plug? It wasn't even because he wasn't Sony. He was the guy from the next game. It was very interesting. They showed Destiny.
We got another Fireteam coming in.
But price point was at $399, and overall, Sony killed it. They absolutely murdered it, and the point at which they murdered it was they came on stage and they said, guess what? No DRM whatsoever. You can trade your games to whomever, you can give it away, you can sell it. We do not care. Just go for it.
PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 game discs. There. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. Or for any type of authentication. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically.
Bit of a shock. There was a lot of cheering, and the price point is a full $100 less than the Xbox. So they killed it. I mean, it cannot be overstated that things are going to change before they're released. I don't think that a lot's going to change. The real question is, how much is the Xbox going to go back on? And when it comes right down to it, are gamers still willing to put up with the bullshit that Xbox is doing for the sake of picking up whatever games it is that they like for the Xbox? Because both systems are going to have exclusives, and the Xbox is focused on exclusivity. So that's the question. I know I'm not going to buy an Xbox, but what about you, Internet? I'll see you next time.